Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Kmart, and I want to talk about some basketball. And today, we are talking about the Philadelphia 76ers and the current situation with Joel Embiid. If you don't know, Joel Embiid injured his knee recently. He has now undergone surgery on his meniscus, I believe it was, and the 76ers say that he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks' time. Now, from what the 76ers are saying, they appear to be hopeful that Embiid will return at some point, either in the season or in time for a postseason run. But today, I want to sort of talk about what happens if that sort of optimistic evaluation is not true. Essentially, what does Philadelphia do if Joel Embiid does not return, right? So real quickly, we'll just sort of run through just how valuable Embiid was statistically. He is averaging, or was averaging, 35.3 points per game, 11.3 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.8 blocks per game on 53.3% shooting. He is and has been the central focus of the offense here for the 76ers, and Philly has not done particularly well when they haven't had him this season. There's something like 4-11, I think, in games without him this season. So they've been built around Embiid. The question is, how will they perform, if they can't rely upon him? The answer is probably a little, or at least a little worse than where they are now. No one player on the roster is going to be able to match Embiid's output. It's just not going to happen, and the team's going to regress really on multiple fronts. Starting with the offense, they were 6th in points and 6th in offensive rating before Embiid went down. So with Embiid and his 35 points per game gone, those positions are going to slip, right? Unless guys like Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris massively step up their scoring, there's really no maintaining those positions. And those three guys would need to average like somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 more points each than what they're currently averaging to make up for Embiid's missing production. So not going to be easy. We have seen a little bit so far of the 76ers without Embiid, trying to change things up a little bit. When Embiid was in the lineup, the team was 17th in pace. They were 26th in the league in both three-pointers made and three-point attempts. So when you had a guy like Embiid down low, they didn't really care much about their perimeter offense. We have seen them shift that a little bit so far. They're starting to take a few more outside shots than they were before, but even if that's a successful transition for Philly, it's going to have to take a little bit more time. You're not going to go from 26th in the league in three-point shooting to suddenly being in the top 10 over the course of a couple of games. So, as I said, if that is a successful pivot for them, it will take a little bit of time to pull it off. In the meantime, the 76ers will probably struggle in other areas too. Rebounding, especially. They were already 21st in the league in rebounding, and that's before they lose Embiid's 11.3 rebounds per game. So maybe you can get some of your backup centers in there to make up some of those numbers. Paul Reed especially would be looked at as that guy, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to hit 11.3 even if he's put into the starting role. So rebounding was already a bit of a struggle for the 76ers. It's likely to get worse. And overall, the defense for Philly is probably going to slide a little bit here. They were 10th in defensive rating when Embiid went down. I will say, though, I think defense is maybe the section where the rest of the team will be able to sort of hold the line the best, assuming that they stay healthy and there's no further major injuries. The perimeter defense is not going to be changed much. Embiid really didn't factor into that. Their guards and wings do a pretty solid job defensively, and backup centers like Paul Reed, like Mo Bamba, are clearly not as skilled as Embiid, right? There's no argument to be made there. They are not. But if you take those two and guys like Tobias Harris, they'll at least maybe have the size to try and hold the line. You won't have any sort of straight up 7-footer anymore, I don't believe, but I think that they could hold the line a little bit better on defense compared to their offense, and that's the best that you're going to ask for. That 10th in defensive rating might slide to, 15th or so, and somewhere in that range. But that's something that the 76ers could survive. So the offense is going to take a step back. The defense probably will as well, the rebounding, etc. So how well can the 76ers do for the rest of the season? Not great, but I also don't see them falling out of the postseason picture entirely. Tyrese Maxey and the rest of the current roster, again, barring any further injuries, should be enough to avoid a full-on collapse. If things really do get bad, they could pretty easily fall into that sort of play-in territory, but anything further down than that would be surprising, especially when you still got teams like the Wizards, the Hornets, the Pistons, who are just one step away from free wins. I don't really see the 76ers falling outside of that top 10 and completely falling out of the postseason picture. However, beyond that, I'm not really sure the 76ers would make it past the first round in the East. Whether they finish in 5th or 6th and avoid the play-in, or they do have to play through the play-in and survive it, in either one of those scenarios, they'll still have to play their first round series against one of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference, with the disadvantage of being the lower seed and being on the road for the majority of the games in that series. So yes, they could make their way to the postseason. If they have to play through the play-in, I would probably take them, even without Embiid, over most of the teams that they would match up against. But I don't see an Embiid-less 76ers winning a best of 7 against the Celtics or the Bucks or the Knicks or even the Cavaliers at this point. So really, I think that is the limit. This team had trouble getting past the second round of the playoffs with Embiid. I realistically wouldn't see them getting past the first round without him. But that is taking the pessimistic approach. That is assuming that the 76ers have to play without Embiid for the rest of the season and for a postseason run. And as I said at the top, the 76ers, at least as an organization, are hopeful that he will make a return at some point. So, here's hoping that they're right and that they get Embiid back. Because without him, this team's going to have a lot of trouble. But that's all I really got. Please feel free to let me know what you think. Do you believe Embiid can, in fact, make that return before or during the postseason? And if he can't, where do you really see this team going? Do you think that they will regress like I outlined? Do you think they'll find some way to rally the troops? And what do you think their prospects are for a postseason run if they do make it to that point? But, well, whatever your opinion is, please feel free to let me know. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.